Hello, everyone. This is Al Fadi. Thank you so much for joining us again in this amazing video series on Mecca in search of a place. We're starting now to really put it all together and zoom in on the 7th century. And last time we did basically present to you evidence concerning the Umayyad dynasty. Today we're going to continue with that. So with us here in studio, of course, is Dr. J. Dr. J, what can we say today to build on what we started last time concerning the Umayyad dynasty?
Okay, we're in the Umayyad dynasty. We're in the Umayyads that go from 661 all the way up to 749. So mid-7th century up to mid-8th century. They are the first dynasty. Now, we have been told by the standard Islamic narrative that they are Muslim, true blue Muslims, right? That's what you've grown up with. Right. That's what everybody's been told. We're going to shut that down very quickly. They were not Muslims. It's very clear that they were not Muslims. Just look, remember the coins.
Like by title or by faith, basically, when you say
by faith.
Okay.
And because since they're Muslims, therefore there should be some references to them being Muslims. And we looked at the coins. We looked at all the coins by Muawiyah, who is the first of the Umayyad caliphates. And we saw that the coins that he has in the west, the gold soliduses and the copper coins in the west, they all have Christian crosses on them, which suggests he was a Christian. When he coins and mints coins over in the east where he doesn't live, but he knows that the people there are Zoroastrian, they all have a Zoroastrian, the fire altar on the back, proving that there's nothing Islamic about him. And for 20 years, from 661 up to 680, all the coins show that he was either he was a Christian and a Zoroastrian, depending on what side of the country the coins were being minted. Nothing Islamic about him. Nothing Islamic. But what we do know is that he then goes out of power about 680. Marwan comes to power, and Marwan's son in 685 takes over the power. Now, his name is Abdul Malik. Now, remember, we have said over and over again, Abdul Malik is absolutely important to this whole narrative. Why? Because he is the greatest, he's of the Umayyad caliphates. Some might differ with that, say maybe Walid, his son, was greater. No, Abdul Malik is the one that introduced this Arab identity. Remember, they need to have an identity. Since 622, the mantle of the Sassanids has been taken off their shoulders because of the Byzantines. Now we're in 685. Abdul Malik comes to power. The Umayyads have been in power since 661, so we're talking about 25 years. He wants to create his own identity, and he wants to create his own Arab identity. He's living way up in Damascus. His governor, Ibn Zubayr, however, is living down in Petra, where the sanctuary is. So we need to zero in on Ibn Zubayr. So let's look and see why Ibn Zubayr is important. Let's go to the slide. Who is Ibn Zubayr and why is he important? Well, Abdullah ibn Zubayr was the governor of Petra under Abdul Malik, the Umayyad caliph, from 685 to 705. He rebels against Abdul Malik in 686. Therefore, he's fascinating against the power which is up in Damascus. Now, we've asked this question before. Why in Damascus? Why aren't they down in Medina and Mecca if they are Muslim? If they are Muslim, they should be down where Islam began. They should be down where the holy places are in Mecca. They should be down where the sanctuary is. They're not anywhere there. That's where Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali were. Then why aren't they there? Well, for a very good reason, because we can't find any reference to Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali. Suggesting very clearly that Mecca did not exist this early. And it certainly did not exist at the time of Ibn Zubayr, at least at the beginning of his reign. He rebels against Abdul Malik, as a lot of governors do. And what does he do? Well, he destroys Petra, really. He destroys the Kaaba. He destroys everything he can. He grabs the black stone and takes it with him. Hugely important. You're going to see why. And he flees down to the south from where he comes from. Where does he flee down to? Well, he needs help. Flees down to the south, he needs help. So what does he do? He looks up towards Hira, up to Iraq, up to the Abbasids. Now, the Abbasids have always hated the Umayyads. Why? Because the Abbasids are the carryovers from the Sassanians. They are the Persians.
Right.
They're up in Ctesiphon. Ctesiphon is the name of their capital. They're still up there. They haven't been destroyed. They have been, they've been conquered, but they still exist, and they are gaining power. Now, suddenly, they realize this guy who has rebelled against Abdul Malik, their number one enemy, the one they hate the most, they now realize, hey, this guy has the black stone. Ooh, we need to follow him. And he needs help too. He needs allies because he's all alone. with his family and maybe others around him. But he certainly he cannot confront the Umayyads who are up there in Damascus all by himself. So he makes an alliance immediately with the what later became the Abbasids. And of course, they're up in Kufa. Now let's put it on a map so we can see what we're talking about. So let's look at a map here. There you can see in 680, Ibn Marwan supplants the Sufyani family in Damascus. That's the dull red area that you can see here on the left. And here you can see Damascus is circled in red. His son Abd al-Malik becomes caliph in 685. He is also in Damascus. Ibn Zubayr is down there in Petra. And he, looking at the map there, let's take a look. He then flees down to the south. Does he flee to Mecca? We don't know, because we don't have any reference for Mecca that early yet. We're assuming he did flee down there. And the dark blue area is where he goes to. But then he needs an ally, so he goes and gets an ally with the Abbasids who are up there in Hira, which later will become, northeast of it will become Baghdad. They are headquartered up there. Now, note the political capitals. So Damascus and Hira are the political capitals of the Umayyads and the Abbasids. The sanctuaries, however, are Petra and Mecca. Do you see that on the map?
Yes.
Okay, so those are the four major cities that you need to look at. So those are the political capitals, and these are the sanctuaries for both. That's the sanctuary for the Umayyads, and here's the sanctuary for the Abbasids. Why? Because of Ibn Zubayr. He now has the black stone, and wherever the black stone goes, so does God's presence go with it. That Arab identity is needed. Why is it important? We're going to go into that in the next episode, because that is now where the Arab identity comes into importance. And who is the one that creates that? Well, you know the answer already, but let's get into that. Let's dive into it in the next episode, because then now we've shown why Ibn Zubayr is important. I want to show you then what happens next.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Until next time, have a blessed day.